Right now across Trinidad and Tobago, there's quite a bit of Saharan dust in the air. Meanwhile, the Atlantic remains quiet, even though we're going through August and we're set to hit a peak towards September. But back in 1993, do you remember Tropical Storm BRET? Yes, the one that occurred a couple of years ago, but BRET basically came through the Caribbean, and obviously at that time, Tropical Storm BRET had formed on the 5th of August, and it then struck Trinidad and Tobago on August 7th with winds up to tropical storm force of 95 kilometers per hour. And you can see here the track of BRET was basically straight across the northern range. Some people say it went between Trinidad and Tobago, but obviously most of the effects were along the hillsides there. But right now across the Atlantic, it's pretty quiet. We only have one system there, a low, which has a very low chance of developing. It's over some warm waters, but basically it's well away from Bermuda, and eventually taking a track towards the north, it'll come over some cooler waters, and so it won't necessarily develop over the next few days. Right now across the Atlantic, we only have a couple of tropical waves. The first one is being basically tied up with some Saharan dust, so that's not to worry. And then the second one behind that is a tropical wave. That one will likely bring a bit more in terms of some rainfall as we go through the next few days. You can just see it here beginning to make inroads, possibly pushing towards where we are by the time we get to Thursday. But for tonight and tomorrow for Tobago, hazy sunshine will likely be your trend as you go into your morning. A lot of the haze continuing from Charlottesville, coming down to part of Touvier, all the way across to Canaan. But it will also feel quite breezy, especially for Roxburgh, Scarborough, and then coming down towards Crown Point. Similarly for Trinidad tonight, apart from that stray shower, conditions will be quite hazy for those of you, especially along the eastern shoreline. So you will wake up to a hazy start from Turco and then across the northern range up towards Blanchisches and into Diego Martin as well. A thick layer of Saharan dust will be with you all the way through the day. Now down towards the southern coastline, this is where you see maybe a slight change, a bit more cloudiness than dust. So a lot more of the possibility of some moisture and some showers coming through Guaragari, Muruga, across to Ikalkas and possibly up towards Point Fortin as well. So temperature-wise, looking at a mild night, 24 degrees Celsius for many of you, 26 in Tobago, and that will basically herald a hot day, 32 likely in Tobago, 33 for much of Trinidad, maybe even pushing 34 in the capital. And it will remain hot in Tobago through Wednesday, and then on Thursday we'll get some cooling relief from some showers. Also, it will feel quite steamy as well with a bit more of the moisture around. And for Trinidad, there's a possibility of some thunder showers erupting on Thursday, and then we return to sunshine and showers by Friday. So heading offshore, you will notice those fresh easterly winds bringing some whitecaps as well as some sea spray, but wind waves staying around 2 meters out in the Atlantic, close to 1.5 as you go through the Caribbean, and we'll keep those east-northeasterly swells at 8 seconds. Now there's only one high tide for boaters tomorrow, that's at 1 p.m. and then you've got your low tide at 6:30 a.m. and at 6:30 p.m. Now, of course, many parts of the Caribbean, obviously they've been looking at that Saharan dust coming through, but up towards Hispaniola, into Dominican Republic and Haiti, there is that tropical wave likely to bring us some blustery thunder showers again as they go through Tuesday. And you can see here the little colours are popping up, and then eventually all of that clears away by the time we get to late on Tuesday and Wednesday. That's when the Saharan dust hits them as well. So at least for Santo Domingo and Port-au-Prince, look for some thundery downpours, especially gusty along the coastlines. So for Kingston, they'll see some brisk showers. But for the Eastern Caribbean, a lot of the haze will continue quite thick at times. And obviously for those with respiratory ailments, you should be mindful of that. So especially down towards St. John's and Antigua, out towards Dominica as well, and down towards St. Lucia, lots of dusty conditions expected as they go through their Tuesday, along with us here in Trinidad and Tobago. So that's your weather, and that's it from me.